What's up, gamers, and welcome back for more WotC-20. Today's matchup is Shining Kings versus Dark Rain Dance. If you're not familiar with the deck names, Shining Kings uses E-Reader Kingdra to move energy around and power up Shining Raichu, and Dark Rain Dance is a take on Rain Dance that uses the Dark Feraligatr package. So, actives to begin, no Clefas in sight. It's going to be Horsey against Eevee, and a fan club immediately comes out for the Kingdra side to go and fetch up a bench. Probably going to see I'd have to imagine a Cleffa. If there's a DCE in hand, it'll be easy to at least get it into active. And we see come down a Black Star promo Articuno. This is the JP version, which was the only holo printing of the card. Beautiful card. It does have Ice Beam. It is 30 damage with a coin flip for paralysis for 2 water and a DCE. So, worth keeping an eye on. Pretty good attacker. And I do believe, I think it's 70 HP. Yep, Ice Beam for 30, 80 HP. Okay, so not 70 HP. So one of the bulkier basics and bulkier birds out there versus the Fossil Articuno on the bench for Dark Rain Dance. But that is the classic Articuno that we usually see in Rain Dance. And now Computer Search tossing 2. We'll see what they go get. And it will be the DCE for a reverse thrust into the Cleffa. Don't think Strength Charm gets run in this Kingdra deck. Some Kingdra decks do run it, but that Eevee is going to take a decent hit here for 20. Small HP on that Eevee too, only 30 HP, not something you want taking a lot of hits. And for those wondering, Water Cyclone on E-Reader Kingdra, which is from Aquapolis, does not have the ability to move special energy, or that DCE in particular is what I was looking at. Cannot move that around with its power Water Cyclone, so that will be attached and stay attached. Eevee gets a water attach. And it looks like Bite is going to go through. Going to leave the Eevee in the active, so knockout might be coming here. And pass back, so both actives have 20 on them. And I do believe I was wrong earlier about the Dark Feraligatr package in this Dark Rain Dance deck. I recognize the deck a little more now, and the Dark tag is actually going to come from the Dark Vaporeon. Alright, so Seadra coming down, evolves Dark Vaporeon, gets that Eevee out of kill range, could have retreated to the Cleffa and taken a prize there with the Horsey. Opts to evolve to Seadra instead and Eek. With Vaporeon on board as well, there was no attack to be had that turn, no Cleffa on Rain Dance's side, and Squirtle gets benched. I see Item Finder in hand, looks like another Cleffa in hand, as well as a Comp Search. Just slow attach water to that bench Seadra. So Kingdra should be around the corner. And Finder for, certainly not Finder in the Comp Search for 4 discards. Cleffa and water to the bin. And it was for Trader, so a different Seadra, that's a Neo Genesis Seadra, is going into the deck. We have a Fossil Seadra on bench. There is a 10 HP difference. And there is Kingdra. So if you're not familiar with Kingdra, Rapids deals 50, and then it's a coin flip to energy removal, the opponent's active. And if you can't tell from here, cost for that attack 2 water and then a double colorless. Water Cyclone as read off as often as you like during your turn before your attack. You can move a water from your active to one of your benched Pokemon. So Kingdra once again had the chance to come in and take a knockout. Could have removed 2 energy off the board. Opts to Eek instead. And looks like it's a dead draw for Rain Dance. Pass right back. So now certainly we'll see Kingdra come in with a full grip coming in here. Dark Vaporeon only having 60 HP. Typical of Dark Pokemon have lower HP. Second Horsey comes down. And DCE to Articuno as the attach for turn. Now the Horsey on bench, also from Aquapolis, just like I believe the Kingdra is probably the best Horsey in format. It's only one of two that have 50 HP over 40, but Reverse Thrust with DCE is just so good for 20 damage. No matter what, there's going to be a lightning weakness on them. Every Horsey in format has a lightning weakness. That was another pass from Rain Dance, it looked like. Worth noting that the Horsey from Neogenesis is a free retreater. And that just goes to show how good Reverse Thrust is for the E-Reader Horsey to get run instead. There's another E-Reader Horsey from Aquapolis, but it's 40 HP, not as good of an attack. Another trader for another Cleffa. Magby now on board. Don't think Magby is going to matter much this game. Although it is good to have two free retreaters on your bench in general. Or one on the bench, one active. Just two on board, so if you do get Cyclone, you can go into a free retreater. And there is Shining Raichu, so Shining Raichu's Thunder Squall is a very good attack. We'll see if it gets put active this turn, but you can only have one copy of Shining Raichu in your deck. It has 70 HP, doesn't have to evolve. Thunder Squall does 40 to active, and then if your opponent has any benched, you can choose one of them, and the attack will deal 10 damage to that benched Pokemon for each water energy attached to Shining Raichu. So you can double dip that with Rainbow. And if a Shining Raichu is unanswered in the active, Thunder Squall can really stack up turns over. Turn after turn of Thunder Squall will put your bench in a tough spot. And it looks like we are using Kingdra now for Water Cyclone to move energy to the Magby. Pokemon Center comes down to take damage off of the Cleffa. Some free retreating as well as Water Cyclone to keep that water energy moving around board. Rainbow for turn onto the Raichu, dealing 10 damage to it, but as I said before, that will count towards the lightning and water cost of the attack. Only one energy at a time, but still. Trader from Dark Rain Dance is going to send a Dark Vaporeon out of the hand, pull in a Blastoise. Unsure if there's a breeder in hand, but Squirtle on bench would be able to breeder into Blastoise right now. Tough sledding with the energy attaches for Rain Dance. Kingdra's basically set up at this point. Now we were talking earlier about how Water Cyclone cannot move DCE around, but Water Cyclone doesn't specify a basic water energy card. It just says a water energy card, which means it can cycle and move around the rainbow energy. If I am wrong about that, please blow me up in the comments. Second Kingdra evolves now on board. And I would expect to see a prize for turn. Prizes have been passed up to this point. Lightning for turn comes down onto the Raichu. Thunder Squall obviously will not be dealing weakness and resistance to whatever benched Pokemon it hits, so Blastoise is lightning weak. We'll see if that matters. Super effective damage will not matter for Thunder Squall if it comes in against Dark Vaporeon. Looks like we're going to be moving water energy instead over to Kingdra and coming in for a Rapids. Coin flip won't matter here. Dark Vaporeon is knocked out. That takes 2 water energy off the board. And that is first prize of the game. Articuno promoted. No free retreaters on the bench to consider for that. You see a War Turtle in hand. And Fisherman will be getting that energy back, which is great with Blastoise on board now. Two-watered Articuno. It's not going to be enough to attack, though. You can see a War Turtle and a Switch in hand. Another Lightning comes down on the Raichu, and at this point, now the flips for Rapids will be important. Any water energy removed off the board, since Fisherman was already used, will be an issue here for Rain Dance. Someone has a good ringtone there. Other Articuno gets gusted up. And it takes 50 damage. So let's see. Shining Raichu is something to keep an eye on here. Right now its bench damage would be, well, just one from the Rainbow at the moment, depending on how much water gets moved. Kingdra's likely not going anywhere with a retreat cost of 3 unless there's a Warp in hand, which I can't hand peep right now. And Oak for Rain Dance was timely. Otherwise, it was pretty much a dead hand. Even got to use the switch prior to put the Articuno back active. Hopefully there is some water energy. Now the bench gets to fill up. No water energy found from Oak. So instead, Eevee, Cleffa, and Squirtle come down, and Rocket Hideout becomes the stadium. But there are no dark Pokemon on board to benefit from it. At least right now. Other Articuno gets gusted again, so that's 2 gusts, 1 Articuno, and likely a knocked out one as well. Elm just for resources for a full grip for Kingdra. Not much more they can really want to do to set up. I guess keep attaching energy, set up Raichu for something here. Maybe they'll even find a Warp. With that Warp, this could be a good double KO. If you are going for a double KO, I would probably take out the Cleffa over the Eevee just to get around the baby flip rule. No more eking, no more stalling. Okay, water to Raichu. Could still retreat the Kingdra if you really wanted to. And I think Feed skipped ahead a little bit there, but that was a knockout on Articuno, a prize for Kingdra. And then it looks like we've got some evolutioning going on. I guess Chain Reaction Eevee was not triggered either by accident or intentionally. We will see. Dark Vaporeon comes down. I know sometimes Eevee Box players will not evolve on purpose, depending on the situation. I don't think this Rain Dance deck runs other types of Vaporeons, so we'll see. Alright, now Raichu is definitely ready to do some double prizing. Alright, so natural 3 retreat takes a lot of energy off the board, but Raichu is super juiced here. Still has to hit through the baby rule. Would have liked to see this last turn. So remember, the benched damage of choice is for each water energy. Alright, and it's a heads to swing at the Cleffa. 40 will hit the basic Squirtle on the bench, leaving the Eevee there. I would expect Eevee to come in here as the free retreater. And prizes are now 2 to 6. Hard to see what Rain Dance can do to come back here. One option would be to high roll with Articuno with the freeze dries at this point. It would be very difficult to hit 60 damage on the Raichu, but you could. You just need Blastoise to find, let's see, 5 energy. If this Copycat is all energy, there is a line to knock out the Raichu here. But it has to be exactly 5 water energy to that Blastoise. See a DCE. I saw at least 1 water energy there, and a Comp Search. Desperate times, I would probably Comp Search away that DCE. That's 3 water energy. You could comp for another one. So that's 1 water energy short of doing miraculous things. Instead, we're going to look to power up Articuno. And a DCE attached return along with another Rain Dance water energy onto Vaporeon. So splitting the energy opportunity, going into the Dark Vaporeon and the Articuno. Free retreating that Eevee out, and it looks like we're just going for a Blizzard here. Okay, so not going for the Paralysis Flip on Freeze Dry to try to prevent another big swing from Raichu. But Blizzard is ahead, so that does 10 to the bench, which is pretty good. That does make Pokemon Center a lot more awkward to pull off. Actually, with a full bench, that basically takes care of Pokemon Center from coming in for Shining Kings. Tons of energy in hand from what I can tell. Looks like we are going to Water Cyclone some water energy away. Move it from the Raichu to the benched Articuno. Miracle Energy coming down to the Raichu. That's scary. One of the few good applications for this card. You can only have 1 copy in your deck. So that'll count as the water, along with the rainbow. So 30 to bench is going to snipe off the Eevee. Again, I'd rather see it hit the Cleffa. And Shining Energy gets discarded at the end of the turn, but it did its job. Probably going to give up the Raichu here just to come in with Articuno and close this game out. If the Articuno stays in to take this prize, it will get knocked out because it has 40 on it, and Ice Beam on the Black Star promo Articuno. It's going to deal 30 for a clean knockout. You can see in hand here, War Turtle, Vaporeon. No, we're going to trade. It's going to be Blizzard for the KO, and that'll do it here. So thank you for watching. Water on water violence. Yeah, we'll watch him play it out. Thanks for watching.
He's got 70 left, or 70 total, so I'll do Ice Beam for 30 for the game.
Alright, congrats.
Good game, man.